Hey, we're back for episode number 6 from the Trust Your Intuition Academy. Ken Coscia here. So glad you're here. So glad you're watching the replay. Thanks. Should be fun. This is a really, really important topic. And let me just adjust the screen a bit. Make sure you get really... I'm out here being very ambitious on a beautiful fall day. Sun is shining and the wind is really blowing up quite a bit. So I'm feeling ambitious because I love being outside, and you'll see in the back most of the leaves are gone, a good many. Here we are. So let me just get a little warmed up here and see who's coming in with us. Hey, Kat and Janet. Let me just say hello to a few people. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I love it. I'm glad you guys are here because this is one of my favorite topics. I think it's one of the most important topics we could talk about, and that is intuition, which is really another way to look at inner wisdom. You know, some people call it the little inkling we have, the inner voice, your gut feeling. We've even heard people talk about remote viewing, ESP. Call it what you will. You know, I know, somehow, some way. I'm doing great, Janet. Thanks. How about yourself? Somehow, some way, we can access information that goes beyond our 5 senses. In some of my recent studies in neuroscience, they've now located, or excuse me, I should say identified, which they believe to be fairly new in our evolution, the anterior cingulate, and also the, I believe, if I remember correctly, the insula, and suspect it has something to do with intuition from a brain point of view. Oh, Janet, thank you for sharing the video, and anyone else sharing. Really, this is a vital topic. I have so much fun with this topic. I've been working with it for 45 years with my work with the Silva Method. For those who don't know me, I'm the International Training Director. I serve as the Senior Trainer and Instructor for this worldwide organization, now in its 50th year, called the Silva Method. And our whole mission is to help awaken people that you are more than what you appear to be. In fact, you're better. And our area of expertise really is this topic, the subjective qualities we all possess, the subjective mode of consciousness, those intuitive faculties that every human being has, but not every human being realizes that, or maybe they realize it and they just haven't what? Activated or learned how to really use it. And that's my intention. That's part of why I'm here, because in my 45 years as an avid teacher, an avid student, a practitioner in this area, working with hundreds of thousands of people in close to 30 countries now, it's people like you. I so appreciate you because we're learning together, we're growing together, we're helping each other with that. And this topic maybe is so true now. And what's going on? Here we are, just to give a date to this, it's November 11th. We've just had a major presidential election here in the US. And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. And when that happens, because this is going to be our topic today, the truth really gets distorted, doesn't it? And too often we're not thinking clearly, and instead of using our higher thinking functions, we go into fear. When we go into fear, we don't think straight, let's face it. Excuse me. That's the one thing about being outside. There's so much blowing around here, the leaves and the dust. But anyway, I don't mean to get so serious. However, it is really a serious topic, isn't it? Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thanks for your shares. Let me see, a few other people joined us for that. I'm just looking. I want to acknowledge your presence. So I would periodically look there. So what we're really talking about is creating a bridge to inner wisdom. And this is one of my pet topics. In now my new Trust Your Intuition Academy, trustyourintuitionacademy.com, you'll find out more. I'm having so much fun just starting to build. I travel a lot. I'm doing live trainings most of the time with the Silva Method. I'm getting ready Wednesday to go to the Chicago area to do the immersion experience of Silva Life and Intuition System. So for me, it's kind of a slow but sure project. I hope in December to make more time to work on being able to offer you, my friends, followers, fans, who have been so gracious in trusting me and honoring me with your presence, your likes and your shares. Because I know it's not always possible to travel, not always possible to be with me live. That would be the best way, by the way. So I am looking to get more and more available to you online. That can be 24/7 easy access to you regardless of where you are, as long as you have internet access. So that being said, the Trust Your Intuition Academy, one of the offerings is something called the Lost Sense, Intuition in You. And during that, I share with you and teach you the 12 focusing principles. And these principles are my observation in who are the people who are most successful with their intuition. For example, just read the literature. Just explore any of the thought leaders. Just in any of the reading, whether it be if you're an entrepreneur, if you're building a business and you're listening to people who are offering you all sorts of strategies and coaching to help build your business, to get your message out there. Or if you're interested in enriching a relationship and connecting better with a friend, a loved one, a co-worker, right? Or maybe just with your family, wanting to understand them, be more patient, be more compassionate. Or maybe just something as simple as figuring out what's going on with your car and who can you trust when you're being told you need this, you need that. Or who can you trust to coach you? Who can you trust to offer you all these incredible, cool products out there? It's mind-boggling, isn't it? So think about it. Everybody says, trust your intuition, trust that inner voice. I think it's an oversimplification because too often we're confused. And that will lead me, so let's take a look at these focusing principles and let's just briefly review. And I even made some notes for you. So basically in episodes 1 through 5, we looked at the importance of, I said there are 12 principles: relaxing, staying focused, staying calm, not letting the stresses of life and the fears of life get the best of you, going for a walk, meditation, things we can do. Having a clear-cut vision, the importance, the value. I remind you of that. Why, are you here? Why is it important for you to develop and awaken your intuition? Be playful, be childlike. If we get too serious, we get obsessed. And if we get obsessed, that in itself will distort the truth. Then we looked at, let me see who else. Hey, Dan and Anka. Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Applications. Well, it's got to be relevant. What good is it if you're trusting your intuition and you're awakening it if you're not applying it? So you make decisions every day of your life, building your business, entrusting someone. You're hiring a contractor. You're making a choice whether to enroll in a course, a seminar, a coaching program, whatever it is. How do you know you can truly trust that they're the real deal, that what they're saying will be of value to you? Then we had, I believe it was episode 3, I interviewed Ronnie, the midlife coach, who's been applying this in her coaching practice. Great examples. Then we went on into episode 4, attention and trust and courage. You got to pay attention to the inner voice. You got to, pay attention and recognize that often it comes and goes so quickly that unless we pay attention and give it time and stop, smell the roses, so to speak, and then to have a little bit of trust and courage in yourself. And that will come with what we're going to do in one of the upcoming episodes, building points of reference. So we're going to teach you how to build a resource state, how to become masterful in discerning the difference between wishful thinking and fear. And then, of course, in the last episode, we talked about detachment and empathy. Meaning, there's a point where you got to just be objective, like a reporter, and step back from the concern, the passion, the interest, the value, and just kind of observe what's going on. No judgment, no attachment to outcome. Just observe what's going on and report it. Then evaluate, then look at it. And that helps us to build some empathy. So when it's involving other people, we need to recognize that and have some compassion that most people, maybe all, I'm not sure if that's correct, but I choose to think people in general are just doing the best they know how to do depending on their training. So a lot of these things we're talking about here, I'm sharing with you, really you got to have the right kind of training. It's not going to happen magically. You know, you're not going to be able to visualize it. I mean, yes, visualize it, but you need some training, you need some help from people who have a higher level of experience. Keep that in mind. So what I want to look at, let me see if somebody else, before we go into others for this, is today's episode. Hey guys, it's kind of chilly out here. My hands are starting to turn blue in my adventurous spirit. I guess in the winter when the snow's out, I'm going to find some healthier, warmer alternatives for you. Hey Nancy, good to see you here. Anyway, honesty and distortions are two of the other focusing principles. Allow me to explain. It takes a level of honesty with ourselves. It takes a level of just reporting what you're observing. No attachment to outcome. Just observe. It's like having a good friend who's honest enough to tell you the truth. If you've ever had an idea, if you ever had an experience, many people patronize you. Many people patronize us, because they don't want to hurt our feelings and they're concerned. Well, in my experience, in my humble opinion, it takes a really good friend. My wife is like that, Barbara. She has no qualms telling me the truth and giving me a piece of her mind and letting me know when she thinks I'm off the wall or stepping over or whatever it might be. And although it might be painful at sometimes, and although sometimes we don't like to hear certain things, I always appreciate it. It's heartfelt, because how else are we going to learn and make changes? Let me see if anyone else is here new. Nancy, I'm just checking, seeing. Thank you guys for the share. I know it's a Friday afternoon. I'm going to work on better times for this. So please, when this is saved, you'll be able to share it with your friends. Let them know it's an important topic. So honesty and distortions, the two focusing principles, go together. So I'm sure you realize this. Things are not always what they appear to be. Correct? I mean, how do you know that what you're being told is indeed the truth, or what you think you're observing? So there are distortions such as projection. Projection is when we want it so badly. We're hoping, we're wishing. Now, by the way, I think that's great to be optimistic and visualize desired outcomes. Visualize, imagine your ideal future. Absolutely. When it comes to intuition, though, there comes a time when we need to just simply step out and recognize that sometimes that bias, that want, that desire, that passion will bias us. And that's why it's important to have points of reference where we can discern the difference. So recognize that we all have a bias within the domain of our life's experience. If you go to see a surgeon's going to think like a surgeon, and he's got that point of view. Cut it out. That's his example. That's within the domain of his experience. That's how he can resolve a medical problem for you. And that's maybe not always the best alternative for you. However, he's telling the truth. That's what he knows or she knows from their experience. So each of us have a level of distortion depending on our conditioning, our training, our level of life experience, the amount of wisdom we've developed. All of that contributes to what we think is intuition and what not. So it's important. You got to practice and practice, guys. Please, whatever it is you do, I would be blessed. I would be honored. Go to trustyourintuitionacademy.com. Take a look. It's a fun workshop. There's downloads on there. There's lots of bonuses. I'm going to be adding more and more content to that to anybody who's become a student of it. It's a fun workshop. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it's excellent. It's got some guided meditations. I've got some problem-solving tools on there for you, and some exercises to just play with your intuition and awaken it and become more aware of how you think subjectively. So that's why these distortions. Another distortion might be fear. Oops, some other people may say hello. Ina and Adina, hey, hi guys. I'm sorry I missed a few people. I got caught up in my thinking. But you know, I appreciate you being here. Thanks guys for joining. If I missed you and I didn't acknowledge your presence, forgive me. Anyway, when we go back to these distortions, fear is a biggie. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of making a mistake. I mean, really, who in their right mind, how about you? Would you like to be disappointed? Would you like a healthy disappointment? Duh, of course not. So can you see how sometimes strategically we hold back, we play it safe, we think small because we don't want to be disappointed? That's fear-based thinking. Quick example. I hesitate, but it's a good example, so I'll give it to you. If you watch episode number 5, I share with you my background growing up with gamblers. And I watched men, people I admired, including my father, go from nothing to everything and losing it all. And when I say losing it all, I mean losing their home, losing their business, losing their family, losing their life savings from gambling. It's very tricky when you're playing with money and you're gambling with that. Hey, Kata, good to see you too. Hey, hi. Welcome. Some other folks. I'm so blessed by your presence. Thank you. So here's the example. And just use it, please, as an example, a metaphor. Imagine you wake up from a dream, and it feels so real. You're jumping up and down in the dream. You're so it's like, yes, because you got the news. You won a $10 million prize lottery. People are calling you. You discover you have more family and friends than ever before. Right? And it's so convincing, you can't shake it. I think I've bought one lottery ticket in my life. I admit, I think I'd be tempted to go buy a few tickets. What is it, a few bucks? I don't even know because I haven't done it in so long. How about you? Would you be tempted to buy at least one lottery ticket and spend $1 or $2, maybe $3? Chances are you're saying what? Of course I would. However, let me add something else. Suppose in the dream you saw yourself getting from the bank, from your charge card, from your savings, $10,000. And you bought $10,000 worth of lottery tickets. Then won $10 million. That's an incredible rate of return, right? How many of you now would go and get $10,000 somehow, some way, and buy all those lottery tickets? Not too many people. I've asked this question for years, and most of the clients say, what are you kidding? Why? Because the risk is so high. I know, you're smart, you're intelligent, but you see the difference? And oftentimes fear blindsides us because fear, you ever hear the acronym FEAR, F-E-A-R in English? False events appearing real. When we think something is true and accurate, hey Ian, again, another Ian signing on, good to see you. And we think that it's real, and it blindsides us, and we make decisions based on that. So these are the two most common distortions. Domain of your life experience, wishful thinking, or fear. Actually, 3, with respect. And the surest way to overcome them is through practice and building a resolve. So stay tuned for upcoming episodes. We're going to play some games. I'm going to work on some ideas for you, and we'll look at points of reference, how to enhance this. If you'd like more information on this, if you'd like to follow, hey, just check it out. There's some videos on there. TrustYourIntuitionAcademy.com, or you'll find it on my Facebook page. So again, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing. Have fun, and remember, you are far more than what you appear to be. You're better, much better. Thank you. Have a great weekend.